Starting out this meal prep, the same way I start many of my preps is with a roasted chicken and veggies. So I'll just do potatoes, carrots, parsley, the chicken, and my family of 4 will eat one meal off of that. And then I'll transform the chicken into a totally different meal that will last for several more days. So I wanted to show you how I do my roasted chicken, and then we'll talk more about what we're gonna do to transform that meal. I know roasting an entire chicken can be daunting to many, might freak you out a little bit, unwrapping it and getting it into the pan, but it's really my favorite way to cook a chicken. You want the whole chicken, you get the most flavor, your broth is gonna be amazing, and you just don't get that when you buy the chicken in pieces. I would go ahead and buy chicken breasts and maybe even chicken thighs, put those into the roaster pot, and you will get pretty much the same results. All right, roasted chicken is super easy. I have it pretty much done for you here already. Basically, I buy my carrots whole, I peel them, chop them up, peel the potatoes, and chop up the parsley. All right, this roasted chicken here costs $6.50. See, it is almost a 6-pound chicken. And it's gonna feed my family for days. Probably 4 to 5 days. So I just cut it out of its plastic here. I know things. This one does come with some giblets, but they are in a bag for me, so that's kind of nice because I just pull out that bag and set that to the side. Then I rinse my chicken with cold water. Okay, here I have my carrots, potatoes, and parsley into my roasting pan. And I'll just put the chicken right on top of those veggies. All right, once you get the chicken into the pan, you will want to add some water. I usually add approximately like 1/3 full, so you want it to be up touching the chicken, but you don't want too much water in there to where it's gonna boil out of your pot. So just kind of eyeball it. You want it to be covering the vegetables and a little bit higher touching the chicken. I'll show you here. You can use warm water. It really doesn't make a big difference, the temperature of the water that you're adding. So here it goes. It's just getting over the vegetables and it's starting to cover the chicken. And that looks about right. So you will get some into the broth also. Just real generous with the garlic powder, and then add some pepper. Sometimes I'll also do paprika. Sometimes I'll add onion to the broth. Just whatever your preferences are. All right, it's ready for the oven. I just put it in. I set my oven to 385 on convection. Convection makes it so it cooks evenly throughout the oven. So I'm fortunate to have that feature on there, and I go for about 1.5 hours. You want to use a thermometer while you're cooking to make sure that your chicken is done. Poultry says here 180 degrees. Make sure you're up to temperature so you're not dealing with raw chicken. Great. All right, so I'll talk to you once it's all done. All right, guys, that's it. The roasted chicken is done, and that is why I love roasted chicken. You get that golden crispy crust on the skin of the chicken, and it just makes for an easy take apart, pull apart chicken. Check it out. Here I have the chicken that sat overnight in the refrigerator in its own broth. It is not very appealing to look at when you first bring it out. All the fat has risen to the top and it's all coagulated there. It doesn't look great, but that's what means that you're gonna have a fabulous chicken noodle soup. So once your celery is cleaned up, you're going to want to break it apart and chop it up. I usually cut off the ends, and then I cut a few stalks off of the celery. I'm going to be using 6 stalks in this chicken noodle soup, but you can vary that based on your preference for the amount of celery you want. So then you chop it up and just throw it right into the chicken and broth that you've had refrigerated overnight. Next, we'll get those carrots ready, get them peeled and ready to go. I'm only using 2 carrots here. I think we're gonna have a lot of chicken in this soup, and then of course we're gonna be adding noodles. All right, let's add the water to our stock here. What we made yesterday with the roasted chicken is a nice dense broth, and we have plenty of room to thin it out with the water so that we have enough for our soup and for those noodles that are going to absorb a lot of the broth. So fill it up. I usually go about 3/4 high in the pot, and that should be plenty, but you can always adjust that level later on. Time to get our soup on the stove. We are going to get that up to a boil, medium high, and then it will need to be there for about 10 minutes or so to start to get those vegetables nice and tender. I then set it to simmer and let it go for anywhere between an hour and an hour and a half. Once that time has passed, I add in the noodles, and it needs to boil an additional 10 to 15 minutes. All right, my soup is boiling, and you can really start to smell it. I love taking my roasted chicken and making something else out of it. I do it all the time. I do it with enchiladas, tacos, and quesadillas. So I just love that chicken prepped for me, and there's just a variety of things that you can do with it once you have it ready. Those seasonings in there, add a little bit of thyme, just like a pinch of thyme, pinch of basil, pinch of parsley, and also you can put in 2 bay leaves if you have those handy. Those will really give a great flavor to your broth. So you put the 2 bay leaves in, and then you let the broth cook, you know, all throughout the cooking process, and then when you're ready to serve your soup, you just pull those bay leaves out and it's ready to go. Time to turn the heat back up, get it going to a boil so that we can add the noodles, and then wait out the next 10 to 15 minutes to get the noodles just al dente. Don't want to overdo those noodles so that when we reheat the soup later on, the noodles are complete mush. There you have it, chicken noodle soup and roasted chicken. You're gonna love it. I can't wait to hear what kind of variations you guys do and how it turns out. Thanks for watching.